Yeah. Good evening to all the participants. Today is the last session of LVC as far as FM is concerned, and the chapter that we are currently studying is Management of Working Capital. I hope you remember, since last 2 weeks we are studying this chapter. Initially, we covered how to estimate the working capital. We understood the concept of operating cycle. We also understood the concept of temporary working capital, permanent working capital, and from which sources such temporary and permanent working capital needs to be financed. Then in our last session, we briefly discussed about receivables management, correct? Today, last topic of this chapter is cash budget and management and payables management. So today we are going to cover cash component of working capital and payable component of working capital. Now some of you would have questions, sir, inventory management to reh gaya. So as I said earlier, inventory management is already covered in your paper of costing. So we are not going to repeat that in financial management. Okay? So let's start with today's topic, which is cash budget and management. Yes, correct. Treasury is cash management and budget. It's just a high fundu word of cash budget and management, a sophisticated terminology. Friends, tell me, what do you mean by budget? Budget. Bolo, what do you mean by budget? This term we have time and again come across. What do you mean by budget? Tell me. Budget माने क्या? Planned expenditure, estimate. Yes, Vaidehi is perfectly correct. I just want a simple meaning. Budget is nothing but an estimate. Estimate or forecast. So in this chapter or in this topic, we would be estimating or forecasting the cash requirements of the company. Now my question to you is estimate of future or present or past? हम फ्यूचर का एस्टिमेशन करेंगे या पास्ट का एस्टिमेशन करेंगे? Future, obviously future. Yes or no? So in this topic, we will be estimating the future cash requirements of the company. Are you getting this? This cash budget or management is nothing but preparing receipts and payment account. The receipts and payment account that we used to prepare in our 11th and 12th class. बस वही करना इसमें. The same topic is covered over here, but the only difference is in our 11th and 12th class, we prepared receipts and payment account of the historic data of the transactions that are already incurred in the past. उसका हम receipts and payment account बना देते. But here we would be preparing receipts and payment account of the transactions that would occur in future. Are you getting this? This is the only difference. Till now, we have learned to prepare receipts and accounts for the transactions that are already incurred in the past, means based on the historic data, the actual data. But here we would be preparing the receipts and payments account for the future timeline. Okay? That's why it's called as budget. Are you getting this? Now, why do we prepare this cash budget? Can anyone tell me? Why do we prepare this cash budget? What is the significance? What is the need of preparing cash budget? Tell me, what is the significance? Why companies prepare cash budget? To manage perfectly. Pranav has answered it very correctly. Yes, allocation of funds, need in future cash. Yes, correct. Let's say you are a financial manager and above you in your hierarchy, CFO is there. Okay? Now CFO is planning for some investment in the future. For that, can I say obviously you will need some cash? Without cash bank balance, you cannot make any investment. Yes or no? So your CFO asks you that after 6 months in time, company के पास कितना cash होगा बताओ. So for that purpose, you need to prepare a cash budget. He has asked the cash bank balance after a period of 6 months. because after a period of 6 months, he's thinking to take some new project. So for that, cash bank balance would be needed. Cash is a very important component of financial management. Yes or no? So in that case, as a financial manager, you would need to prepare cash budget. You have to estimate the stream of cash inflows and stream of cash outflows in the future 6 months period, so that you can get the estimate ki yes, after a 6 months in time, our company would be roughly having 5 lakhs of funds. Our company would roughly be having 50 lakhs of funds. And based on that, CFO can make a decision whether to invest in the project or not. Are you understanding? Are you following? What is the importance of cash budget? Where it is used, how it is used, correct? So as I said, it is simply preparing receipts and payment account of the future data. So let's understand what would be the format of our cash budget. Let's understand the format of cash budget. See, again, I am reiterating, we are students of professional course. Our way of solving, our way of presentation should always be organized. Okay? So we have to present to the CFO in a presentable or in an organized format. So let's understand the format of cash budget. It is nothing but simply the receipts and payment account of the future data. इतना याद रखो माइंड में, ठीक है? So let's say I have to prepare a cash budget for year 2025 for 6 months period. Jan, Feb, March, April, May and June. ठीक है? So obviously I will start with my opening balance of cash bank. The closing balance of December would be opening balance of January का cash balance. Yes or no? So obviously anything that you start will be started with opening balance. After that, we add receipts. Tell me friends, which are the likely sources of receipts to the company? Which could all be the likely sources of receipts? पैसा कहां से आएंगे? कौन से sources से आएंगे? Tell me. Not sales, receipt from sales. That is receipt from debtors. Just sales is not a correct terminology. Sales can be on credit, yes or no? Let's say I did sales in Jan, but I give credit of 60 days. So can I say the Jan sales ka paisa I would be receiving in March? So receipt from sales or receipt from customers is the correct term. Receipt from debtors. See, again, I am repeating, we are not concerned with accrual of income and expense. We are concerned with receipt and payment. When is the receipt being done or when is the payment being done? We are concerned with that. So first is receipt from debtors. Yes or no? Second, can I see if there is any sale of investment? I would be receiving money. So again, this is an inflow. Correct? If I take a loan, if I borrow money, again that is a receipt. पैसा आ रहा है, funds are coming in. Receipt from investment, yes. Interest, correct. So these are the general line items from which company would be receiving money. These are not exhaustive list. This is just an illustrative list of line items from which funds are getting received. ठीक है? Likewise, what are the different sources of payments? What could be the likely source of payments to any damn company? Can I say payment to creditors? Payment to creditors. And creditors can be of two types. One creditor are for purchases and one for expenses. Yes or no? So again, we are not concerned with the timing of purchase and expense. We are not concerned with the accrual of purchase and expense. We are concerned with payment of that purchase and expense. Are you getting this? Second is buying of any investment. Third could be loan repayment. Interest paid, yes. Purchase of investment, correct. Interest expense. फिर payment of taxes, payment of advance tax, payment of self-assessment tax would come on the payment side. Yes or no? So again, this is just an illustrative list, not an exhaustive list. You just need to figure out whether the funds are coming in or whether the funds are going out. And not just figuring out whether the funds are coming in or going out, but you also need to figure out the timing of those receipt and payment. The timing of those receipt and payment. It should fall within our period of cash budget. It should fall within our period of cash budget. Miscellaneous expense if paid, yes. So whereas the opening cash balance, opening cash bank balance plus receipt less payment would give me closing balance of the month. Yes or no? And that closing balance of that particular month would become opening balance of the next month. So Jan ka closing balance would become Feb ka opening balance. Jan ka closing balance would become Feb ka opening balance. Feb ka closing balance would become March ka opening balance. And likewise for April, May and June. So simply here under cash budget topic, we are preparing receipts and payment account. The only difference is that till now we used to prepare cash budget or receipt payment account for the historic data. जो घटना घट चुकी थी, the transactions that are already incurred. For that transaction, we used to prepare receipts and payment account. But now we will prepare for the future transactions that are likely to happen in the business. Any doubts, friends? Are you following the topic? Bolo, any topic, any confusion till here? Can we proceed in our lives? So just quickly go through the format because our next step or our next task is taking a practical problem and solving and learning how to prepare cash budget using some numbers. So let's take an illustration. See, can you see the format of cash budget? It starts with opening balance. Then this all are receipts, collection from debtors, cash sales, loan from bank, miscellaneous receipts, other items. Then you have payments, payments for purchases and payments for expenses. Then you have some capital expenditure, you have dividend payments, tax payments, etc. So you will get closing balance. Let's take illustration number 6. Let's take illustration number 6. See, again, I am repeating under this topic, you have to focus on the timing of receipt and payment. We are not concerned with when the sales are happening or when the purchases are happening or when the expenses are incurred. We are concerned with the receipt from those sales and we are concerned with payment of those purchases and expenses. Before borrow, what is that item? Means in this format you are asking? Or in the presentation that I have shown? Borrow, before borrow, it is sale of investment. It is sale of investment. Illustration number 6. Borrow. If you borrow any money, that would be receipt. Nah, company would receive that money. So it comes under receipt side. Repayment of borrowings or repayment of loan comes under payment side. I hope that is clear. Prepare a monthly cash budget for 6 months, beginning from April 22. So can I say from April till September, I need to prepare a cash budget. So a relevant period and in illustration number 6 is April, May, June, July, August, and September. The estimated monthly sales are given as follows. So they have given sales from Jan to October. Okay? But we are only concerned with April to September. Our budget or relevant period for preparing cash budget is April to September. Wages and salaries are estimated to be payable. So this is the wages and salaries ka data for each month. Of the sales, of the above sales, 80% is on credit and 20% is of cash. So can I say in other words, our relevant period is from April to September, correct? So for April, the sales are 80,000. So of this 80,000, 20% means 16,000 would be received in the month of April itself. Yes or no? Because 20% is are in cash. 20% sales are in cash. Likewise, 20% of 60,000 would be receiving in May itself. जो मंथ में सेल किया उसका 20% would be received in that month itself. Yes or no? And the balance 80% which are on credit, we need to see how are the payment terms of that 80% credit. So see what does the question says. 75% of those credit sales are collected within 1 month after sale and balance in 2 months after sales. Means. इसका मतलब क्या? The sales of 80,000 in April. The sales of 80,000 in April. Let me write over here. Sales of 80,000. This is for April month. Of this, 20% means 16,000 is cash sales. So can I say receipt of this 16,000 would be in the month of April itself? The balance of 64,000, which comes to 64,000. Now what is the question saying for the 64,000? It says that 75% of the 64,000. 64,000 ka 75% means 48,000 would be received in the next month. Means can I say this 48,000 of April ka sales would be receiving in May? I would receive the payment in May. And balance of 16,000 would be received in the month of June. Are you getting this? So 48,000 would come in the receipt side of May and the 16,000 would come in the receipt side of June. I hope everyone is following this. We are concerned with the timing of receipt from those sales. Is that clear? Bolo, is that clear to you? Any questions? Pakka? So let's prepare a working note on collection from debtors. Let's prepare working note number 1 for collection from debtors. Working note number 1, collection from debtors or collection from sales. ठीक है. So I will start from Feb. Why I am starting from Feb? Because Feb का some amount of money I would be receiving in April. Yes or no? Some amount of money of Feb I would be receiving in April. So I am starting from Feb. So the sales, let's write month-wise sales. Feb is 120, March is 140, 80, 60. 120, 140, 80, 60. Let me save this first. Then I have 80, 1 lakh, 80, 60. 80, 1 lakh, 80, and 60. So these are my sales. Now of this, 20% is cash sales. Yes or no? 20% is cash. So bolo. Tell me for each month. So 24,000 is cash sales for Feb. 28,000 cash sales for March. 16,000 in April. 12,000 in May. Again 16 in June. 20,000 in July. Again 16,000 in August and 12,000 in September. So can I write here the first receipt? ये क्या हो गया? The first receipt would be opening balance. Then I would write all the receipts. And in that, my first receipt is cash sales. So my cash sales for each month is 16, 12, 16, 20, 16, 12. 16, 12, 16, 20, 16,000, 12,000. I hope there is no confusion till here. Now let's calculate 80% of credit sales. So 80% would be 96,000 of Feb, 1,12,000 in March, 64,000 in April, 48,000 in May, 64,000 in June, 80,000 in July, 64,000 in August, and 48,000 in September. Any queries still here? Any queries? So these are the credit sales of each month. Bolo, any doubt till here? No queries. Okay, let's move forward. Now let's understand the timing of receipt from this sales. So can I say of this 96,000, 75% would be received in March because 75% is receiving in the next month. So we are not concerned with that. But yes, 96,000 का जो 25% है, it sir no. Let me write like this. Of above credit sales. Of above credit sales, not the total sales. 75% in the next month. And 25% after 2 months. Or next to next month. Yes or no? So first let's calculate 75,000. 96,000 ka 75,000 would be 72,000. and 24,000. Then 112,000 का 75%, 84,000 and 28,000. 84,000 and 28,000. This is for March. Then 64,000 is for April. उसका 75%. 48,000 and 16,000. 48,000, 16,000. Likewise for May. 48,000 का 75%. 36,000 and 12,000. 36 and 12. फिर 64, again 64, so it would be 48 and 16. Then I have 80. So 80,000 का 75%, 60,000 and 20,000. Then again 64. So again 48 and 16. And last but not the least, 48,000, 36,000 and 12,000. 36,000 and 12,000. So this is for Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Now can I say this 72,000 would be received in March, but we are not concerned with that because our budgeted period is from April and September. So we are not concerned with 72,000. But can I say this 24,000 of sales done in Feb would be received in the month of April? Yes or no? So I will add here 24,000 in the month of April. And this 75% of March sales would also be received in April. Yes or no? Because 75% you are receiving in next month. So my April ka collection is 84,000 plus 24,000. Hope everyone is following. Okay. I insist you also write in your notebook so that if anything gets missed out, then we have the figures ready with us. Now you all help me with the figures. Huh? So we first wrote the opening balance. Then we wrote the receipts. First was cash sales. Okay? Cash sales was 20%. Cash sales was 20%. So let me just directly see the solution to avoid wastage of time. Cash sales is 1612, 1620, 1612. 16, 12, 16, 20, 16, 12. Now next was collection from debtors. Next was collection from debtors. April, June, July, April, May. June, July, August, September. Now let's directly come to the collection part. Huh? Collection from debtors. So it was 24 plus 84. It was 24 plus 84, right? So it comes to 108. Now, do you have the table handy? Do you have that table handy with you? So can you tell me, can you all tell me that credit sales wala part? Credit sales was 75% in next month and 25% in after 2 months. बोलो फेब में 75%. Was it 72? So this is 72. And 25% was 72. 1 minute. Yeah, one student just gave me. Let me just note that down. 72, 84, 48. 72, 84, 48. 36, 48, 60. 36, 48, 60. 48, 36. 48 and 36. Now tell me about 25%. Thanks. 24, 28, 16, 12. 24, 28, 16, 12. 16, 20, 16, 12. 16, 20, 16, 12. Correct? Any difference over here? These were the bifurcation of credit sales. You all are my... No, sir. Wrong here. Correct, na? Okay. 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 So you all are my saviors. Thanks. Okay. Okay. So now let's focus. Now let's focus on the timing of cash receipt. So can I say this 72,000 would be received in March because the payment up to 75% are receiving in the next month. But balance of 24,000, that is 25% of credit sales would be received in the month of April, that is after 2 months. So can I say April ka collection mein I have to first take 24,000 of Feb ka sales, 25% of Feb ka sales, and in addition to that, can I say I have to add March ka sales as well, because March ka 75% of credit sales would be received in April. Hope you are following. So I have to add 84,000. Now let's focus on May ka receipt. Can I say March ka 25% sales? March ka 25% of credit sales would be received in the month of May. फिर 16,000 would be received in the month of June. फिर 12,000 would be received in the month of July. This 16,000 would be received in the month of August, and this 20,000 would be received in the month of September. Hope everyone is following. 25% of credit sales are received after 2 months. Is this clear? Correct? So in the month of May, can I say 28,000 of March ka 25% sales and April ka 75% sales would be received. This 48,000 would be received in the month of May. This 36,000 would be received in the month of June. This 48,000 would be received in the month of July. 60,000 would be received in the month of August and 48,000 would be received in the month of September. Are you getting this? So 28 28, 16, 12, 16, 20, 16. 12, 16 and 20. So September में 25% of July का credit sales would be received. And August का 75% of credit sales would be received. ठीक है? So 84, 48, 36, 48, 60. 48, 36, 48, 60. And September में August का 75% of credit sales would be received. So these are my collection. So my total collection from customers for our budgeted period is, this is 6876. This is 4652, 60, 76, 68. Any doubts? Any questions? Let me save this now. Correct? I am not able to save. So now let's write this collection from debtors in our cash budget. 108, 76, 52, 76 and 68. And this is from working note number 1. So our first part and significant part of cash budget is done, which is collection from debtors. Now next important part is purchase. Purchase and its payment. Now let's focus on that. Yes, cash sales and opening balance is to be recorded under the receipt side. Purchase amounts to 80% of sales. So पहले तो let's identify the purchase amount. The purchase amount is 80% of sales. So when I say my April ka purchase amount, my April ka purchase amount would be 64,000 because it is 80% of sales. But till now we don't know the timing of the payment of that purchase. We will see that. But as of now, just let's calculate the purchase amount. Purchase amount of April would be 64. For May would be 60,000 ka 80% means 48,000. For June again 64. For July 80,000. For August 64 and for September 48. Okay, so these are my purchase amount. Now let's see how are the payments made to the creditors. And are made on credit and paid for in the month preceding the sales. ये advance में payment हो रहा है. And are paid for in the month preceding the sales. So can I say April का 64,000 of purchase. April में the purchase amount is 64,000. 80,000 का 80%. The payment is happening 1 month before the sales. Means 64,000 is being paid in the month of March. Hope everyone is following. So our working note 2. Our working note 2 is calculation of payments to creditors. ठीक है. Now I will start from April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Sir, why October is taken? Can I say October का purchase amount would be paid in September? Because here it is 1 month paid in advance. Yes or no? So first let's calculate the purchase amount. Purchase amount, which is nothing but 80% of sales. So when I say April का purchase amount would be 64, May का would be 48, 64, 48, June का it would be 64, July का 80, August 64, 48, and in October it would be 80. This is the purchase amount. Still we have not identified the payment amounts. Now what the question says that this purchases amount are paid 1 month in advance, means April का payment would have done in March, May का amount I would have paid in April, June का in May, July का in June, August payment would have done in July, September in August, and October's purchase would have been paid in September. Are you getting this? So payments to creditors for a relevant budgeted period would be 48,000, 64,000, 80,000, 64,000, 48,000 and 80,000. Yes, Pallavi, correct. 1 month in advance preceding the sales. So April amount, April का purchase amount, the purchase that we made in April is paid in the month of March. The purchase amount of May is paid in April. Are you following? So likewise, the purchase amount of October would be paid in September. Well, any doubts? So can I say this is my payment to creditors and this would fall under the payment side? So let me write down the payments. So my first is payment to creditors. And how much is my payment to creditors? 48, 64, 80. 48, 64, 80. 64, 48, 80. 64, 48, 80. ठीक है? Any queries, students? The only thing you need to keep in mind while solving cash budget is the timing of receipt and payment, not of the accrual of income and expense, but the timing of receipt and payment. So point number 2 is done. Point number 2 is done. Third number point. The firm has 10% debentures of 1,20,000. ठीक है? 1,20,000 is of debenture, interest is 12%, 10%. So my interest amount comes to 12,000. Interest on this has to be paid quarterly in Jan, April, and so on. So can I say first installment would be paid in Jan, second in April, third in September, fourth in December? Yes or no? These are the timing of quarterly payments of interest. Are you getting this? So let's calculate payment of interest. Payment of interest. So yearly interest amount. would be 120 का 10%, which comes to 12,000. And they are saying that it is paid quarterly. 4 times payments are made. So 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. First installment is paid in Jan. Second in April. Means after a gap of Feb, March. After a gap of 2 months in between. So when the next installment would be after again a gap of 2 months in between, April, May, June के बाद July. Yes or no? Then again a gap of 2 months, August, September, and last installment would be paid in October. Are you following, students? Did you follow this? Payments of interest are done after a gap of 2 months between 2 installments. So first installment in Jan, as they said. Second is paid in April. Yes or no? So when I say there is a gap of 2 months in between Feb and March. So likewise, we have to keep a gap of 2 months between April and July. Likewise, between July and October as well. Correct? So our relevant budget period is from April to September. So only installment that we are concerned for our budgeted period is this. 3,000 plus 3,000. Why? Because we are not preparing budget for Jan month, neither we are preparing budget for October month. We are preparing from April to September. So the only installment that falls under our budgeted period is April and July. Yes or no? So next would be interest payment. This is April, May, June, July, August, September. ठीक है? So interest would be paid 3,000 in April and 3,000 in July. Rest we are not concerned. Understood? So point number 5 is done. The firm is to make an advance payment of tax of 5,000 in July 22. This is specific adjustment in the month of July. We will pay advance tax. So again, under receipt side, I will write payment of advance tax. 5,000 which will come in July month. I will just write in July month itself. Okay? The firm had a cash balance of 20,000 on 1st April 22. So can I say this is nothing but the opening balance that they have given, which is the minimum desired level of cash balance. What do you mean by minimum desired level of cash balance? In other words, in simple terms, they are saying that cash balance, the closing cash balance has to be at 20,000 minimum. Are you getting this? Any surplus or deficit is made by temporary investment or is made by liquidation of temporary investment. Are you getting this? So they are saying indirectly, they are saying that your closing balance each month has to be 20,000. If there is any shortage to this closing balance, then just liquidate, just sell your securities or just borrow funds. And if you have surplus closing balance, then invest in securities. Hope you are following this. Let's see how to calculate that. But before that, one adjustment is still left. We ignored these wages and salaries. What is to be done? Is there any information, specific information of payments for wages and salaries? Is there any specific information of payment for wages and salaries? In absence of information, they are paid in the month they are incurred. This is what we have to assume. So April ka payment would be done in April itself. May ka wages and salaries would be paid in the month of May itself. Okay, this is what a general assumption we have to make in absence of information. Wages and salaries. So 9, 8, 10, 10, 9, 9. 9, 8, 10, 10, 9 and 9. And that's why they have specifically given only for April to September. Okay? So now let's calculate our closing balance. Our closing balance of cash bank each month. So we will start with opening balance. Opening balance is 20,000. Sorry. Opening balance is 20,000. Okay? Add the receipts. Okay. Have I done some mistake? 108, 76, 52. There is some mistake over here. I 108, 76, 52, 60, 76, 68. 108, 76, 52, 60, 76, 68. Yes, I just corrected that. So now let's calculate our closing cash balance for the month of April. So take 20,000 in Calci, add 16, add 108. This is my total cash receipt. 20 plus 16 plus 108. So 144. Now subtract all the payments. 48 less 3,000 less 9,000. So how much is the closing balance coming for April month? Ideally, how much is the closing balance coming for April month? Ideally, 84,000. Yes or no? 84,000. So ideally, it is coming 84,000. But what company says, no, we don't want to keep so much of high cash. We just want to keep 20,000 as our closing balance. So now you will ask, तो sir ये 64,000 का क्या करने का? What to do with 64,000? So the question says invest this in securities, short-term securities. Because keeping so much of cash with the company also results into losing of an opportunity to earn rate of return on that cash. Yes or no? If you keep idle cash with the company, can I say company is losing an opportunity of investment? And if you keep less cash with the company, can I say it will not be able to fulfill the amount that is required for investment in the project? So high cash and low cash, both are disadvantageous to the company. Both are disease to the company. Keeping excess high cash and keeping excess low cash, both are a disease to the company. Sufficient amount of cash, optimum balance of cash should be kept by the company. And how to calculate optimum amount of cash, we will learn that in our next topic. That is William Baumol model of cash management. Okay? But as of now, are you clear? We are left with 84,000. But the question says any surplus in cash is to be invested in the temporary securities. Okay? Hope you followed this. So my closing balance would only be 20,000. So my closing balance in April month would be 20,000 only. But the excess 64,000 would be securities. Okay? Because we have excess cash balance. Just write this like this. Just write this investment in security 64,000. So can you see they have also written this investment in securities 64,000. Correct? So now next month ka opening would be 20,000. Not just next month. Every month ka opening would be 20,000 only because company wants to keep a cash balance of 20,000 only each month. So again, tell me friends, what is the ideal closing balance? Ideally, the closing balance of cash for the month of May. 20,000 plus 12,000 plus 76,000 less 64,000 less 8,000. So ideally, it comes to कितना आ रहा है 36,000. So ideally it comes to 36,000, but we want to keep a balance of 20,000 only. So can I say again 16,000 का investment करना पड़ेगा? Yes or no? Hope you are following. Again we have to invest 16,000. Correct? So now likewise, let's calculate for the month of June. So start with 20,000 plus 16,000 plus 52,000 less payments 90,000. So ideally, what is the amount of cash? Ideally, ideally कितना आ रहा है 69,000. Negative 2,000 means negative 2,000, correct? So everyone is getting negative 2,000. But we want to keep a balance of positive 20,000 each month. So can I say I have to either liquidate my investment of 22,000 or borrow funds from outside of 22,000? Yes or no? Either you liquidate from these investments that you did in previous month or borrow money. Are you getting this? The idle cash balance is negative 2,000, but company wants to keep positive 20,000. So they have to arrange funds for 22,000, not 18,000. Not 18,000. Students do mistake over here. They just arrange funds for 18,000. That is wrong. Because negative se positive jana hai. So you need to arrange funds for 22,000. So either you liquidate your investments or you borrow money. Got it? So again, I need to keep a balance of 20,000 only. But now I will liquidate my investment of 22,000. ठीक है? ठीक है? This is selling of investment. Any doubts, students? Any questions? Any concerns? Can we proceed? कुछ हो तो बताओ. Can we proceed now? 16,000. 22,000 है भाई. How 16,000? Okay, 22,000. Now for next month. Again for July, let's start with 20. Add 20,000, add 60,000. Subtract 64 minus 3 minus 5 minus 10. कितना आ रहा है? What is the idle cash balance coming? Ideally, it comes to 18,000, correct? Positive 18. But company wants to keep positive 20. So again, we have to arrange for 2,000 now in the month of July. So again, we will sell our securities or borrow money. Hope you are following. So again, sells or you borrow money. Correct? Yes. Now for August. No, please. No. For the month of August. So we will start with 20,000. We will add 16,000 and 76,000. We will subtract all the payments. So cash balance comes to, ideally the cash balance comes to 55,000. 55 आ रहा है. Ideally it comes to 55. But company wants to keep 20 only. So can I say now company will invest in securities for 35,000? Yes or no? See, this chapter is nothing but the galla, the cash galla that is kept in the दुकान, वही है. जो दुकान में गल्ले पे जाते हैं ना, कैश गल्ले पे, वही करना है इसमें. Galla is to be maintained for 20,000. Any surplus, what does the shopkeeper do? They invest in the bank or they invest in the security. Any negative balance, they sell the security or they bring from the bank. गल्ला ही है, कैश गल्ला है. Cash counter. We are managing the cash counter in this chapter. So this is investment. Invest in security. This is invest in security. This is also invest in security. And last month, let's calculate for last month. We will start from 20,000. We will add 12. We will add 68. And from that, we will subtract all the payments, which is 89,000. So my ideal cash balance in September comes to it is on up to you, whichever you want to decide. Question has given you the option. You can take you can choose any of the option. It comes to 11,000. Correct? Ideally, the balance comes to 11,000, but company wants to keep 20,000. So can I say now they have to either liquidate the security for 9,000 or they borrow the funds? Question has given you both the options. You are free to choose any of the options. But why did I choose securities? Because we have securities, enough of securities. So I chose that. So again, we will bring 9,000 by selling of the securities. Understood? So just check the answer. 64, 12 and 35 was our investment. ठीक है? 64, 12 की 16. Sorry, 64, 16 and 35. 64, 16 and 35 investment. 20 to 29 sell. 20 to 29 sell. ठीक है? 109. How you are getting such odd figures? I don't know. How 10? Are you subtracting? Are you adding payments or what? Payments are to be subtracted. They are not to be added. Now my question to you all. Can you tell me my closing investment figure? How much of security balance would be left with the company? How much would be my amount of investment in the security net? Can you tell me? How 82? Can I say it is nothing but sum of all this? Simply sum of all this. 64,000 I invested. Then again I invested 16,000. Then I sold off security of 22,000. So I will subtract that. Again I sold for 2,000. I will subtract that. Then I invested 35,000 and then I sold 9,000. So closing balance of investment in securities 82,000. ठीक है? Yes, correct. This is not asked in the question, but if they ask, then this should be your answer. But if you are now, the question is, what if I borrow these funds instead of securities, instead of selling the securities? What if I had borrowed these funds? So my investment in that case would be 64 plus 16 plus 35. It would be 1,15,000. Opportunity cost, no, they have specifically mentioned that it is to be ignored. Interest on this to be ignored. Understood? How you prepare cash budget? What is cash budget? What is the purpose of cash budget? How it is prepared? Understood? Any doubts? So this was illustration. Now let us take one from practical problem and then we will move to our next topic, that is finding of the optimum cash balance that company should keep. जैसे इस क्वेश्चन में 20,000 was the optimum cash balance that company decided. So how to calculate that 20,000? We will use one model called William Baumol model of optimum cash balance. But before starting that, let's quickly calculate or quickly solve one more problem of cash budget so that you are thorough with this topic and then we will move forward. Now let's solve from practical problem. Practical problem number 9. Practical problem number 9. So practical problem 8, 9 and 10 are from cash budget. Huh? Bad debt is given, then you will subtract that from your collection amount, because bad debt amounts you won't be receiving, na? You would not be receiving that. So think logically, na? Bad debts means my sales is 1 lakh, but the customer is paying only 98,000. So you have to consider only 98,000 in that case. From the information and assumption that the cash balance in hand on 1st Jan. So this is the opening balance of 70,500. Prepare a cash budget. So we'll start with the cash balance of 70,500 and after that we will prepare our cash budget. Non-cash expense is not to be included, obviously, because we are preparing cash budget. We are preparing the receipts payment account. So if depreciation is there, we need to obviously ignore that because it is a non-cash expense. Just focus on the amount that is received and when it is received. Just focus on these two things. On the amount that is paid and when it is paid. You have to just focus on that. Assume that 50% of total sales are cash sales. Means ki Jan ka sales is 72,000. Of this 72, 36 is cash sales. So when I say 36,000 would be received in Jan month itself. Yes or no? 36 would have been received in the month of Jan itself. Now balance of 50% sales that are on credit. Let's see when are those getting paid or when are those getting received. Let's see that. Assets are to be acquired in the month of Feb and April. So we are buying of a new assets in the month of Feb and April and the amount of assets purchased is 8 and 25,000. So when I say this will come under payment side in the month of Feb and April, company has made a loan to the bank for rupees 30,000 and it is hoped that it would receive in the month of May. So we would be receiving, company, not we, but company would be receiving a loan of 30,000 in the month of May. So receipt for May would be increased by 30,000. It is anticipated that dividend of 35,000 will be paid in June. So again, we will consider this as payment in the month of June. Debtors are allowed 1 month's credit. Now this is very important. If you remember, 50% of our sales was on credit. Correct? So that credit sales are paid in the next month. Means Jan ka 50% of the sales would be paid in Feb. Feb ka 50% sales would be paid in March. मार्च का अप्रैल, अप्रैल का मई का जून. ठीक है. Creditors for materials purchased and overheads grant 1 month's credit. Creditor for materials means This is the material cost 25, 31, 25,500, 30,600, 37,000 and 38,800. Correct. These are paid after 1 month because creditors are giving 1 month's credit. So material purchased in Jan would be paid in Feb. Likewise, material purchased in Feb would be paid in March. Likewise, material purchased in March would be paid in April and so on. Are you getting this? Now, apart from material purchases, they are also telling that overheads are also paid after 1 month, or the overheads are also granted 1 month's credit. So can I say the overheads are two types in this question, production overheads and selling overheads. So these two overheads are paid the next month. Hey, are you following? I am just discussing the timing of the payments. The overheads are paid next month of its incurrence, of its accrual. Okay? Sales commission is at 3% on sales and it is paid to the salesman each month. Means ki 72,000 ka 3% is my sales commission and I am paying in that month itself. So salesman comes with January ka sales, I will pay him 3% of commission in the month of Jan itself. Likewise, Feb ka 3% would be my sales commission, which would be paid in Feb itself. Likewise, 3% of 86,000 would be paid in March itself. 88,600 ka 3% would be paid in April itself, and so on. Yes, on actual figure. Sales commission on sales, because they have written on sales. So we have to take the actual figure of sales only. Okay. So now let's again prepare cash budget. The format will remain same. We have to prepare cash budget starting from Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. Okay? We will prepare cash budget for 6 months starting from Jan to June. If possible, students, you also start writing so that during the time of crisis, you can be my savior. Opening balance. Opening balance is 72,500. It is given in the question itself that your cash balance of Jan 22 is 72,500. Then we will add some receipts and we will deduct some payments to get closing balance. So this is our format of cash budget. First step, you prepare the format. You just write down the opening balance figure. Now next step, very easy. Take the specific adjustments. The specific adjustment over here is company is buying assets in the month of Feb and April. So can I say this would come under the payment side? Asset acquired. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. Feb, I would purchase a set of 8,000 in Feb and 25,000 in April. So this is the specific adjustment. Just complete the specific adjustments first because they are very simple. Then company has made an application of loan to the bank and bank will grant a loan in the month of May. So I will receive 30,000 in the form of loan from bank in the month of May. So 30,000 I will just write down in the receipt side in the month of May. This is done. Then company is anticipating to pay dividend in the month of June. So again on the payment side, dividend paid. पैसा जा रहा है. So dividend paid in the month of June. How much is the dividend amount? 30,000. No, not 30,000. 35,000. So 35,000 in the month of June. So these are specific simple adjustment. As and when received, as and when paid, we just noted it down in our cash budget. Bolo, any doubt still here? Can we proceed? Can we proceed now in the collection part and the payments part? Okay. So working note 1. Collection from debtors. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. My sales. First, I will write down the sales amount of each month. 72, 97, 86, 72, 97, 86, 88, 600, 102, 500, 102, 500, and last but not the least, 108, 700. Yes, commission I will write down. I will write down. Don't worry, I will not miss that. 108, 700. Of this, 50% is in cash. So 50% is 36. 97 का 50% is 48.5. Then 43. Then 44, 300. Then 102, 500. 51, 250. And 108, 700. 54, 350. So these are cash sales. This amount would be received in that respective month itself. So I will write down your cash sales. 36, 48, 500, 43, 44, 300, 51, 250, 51, 250, and 54, 350. So these are my cash sales. Let me save this first. So next is collection of credit sales. So in other words, can I say the balance 50% would be credit? Balance 50% would be credit sales. 36, 48, 500, 43, 44, 300, 51, 250, and 54, 350. Now let's decide on the timing of the receipts from this credit sales. So the question says that 1 month is given credit to the debtors. So can I say this 36,000 in short would be paid in Feb, 48, 500 would be paid in March, March ka in April, April ka in May, and May ka in June. Are you getting this? Are you following this? Yes or no? So in Jan, I would receive payment of sales that is done in December, but I don't have any details of December ka sales, so I have to ignore for Jan. I don't have December ka sales ka figure, so I don't know how much would be my collection. 36, 48, 500, 43, 44, 300, and 51, 250. Yes or no? So my collection from credit sales would be dash 36, 48, 500, 43, 44,300 and 51,250. Done. This is from working note number 1. Any doubts till here? Now, since we have calculated the sales figure, let's calculate sales commission as well. We have calculated. See, we have calculated sales figure, or we have already mentioned the sales figure that is given. So let's calculate sales commission as well, because they are paid in the month of the sales itself. So एक तीर से दो निशाना हो जाएगा. Sales commission. Sales commission is 3% on sales. 3% on sales. So can you help me in calculating for Jan, for Feb, March, April, May, June? 3% on sales. So 72,000 into 3%, 2160. Can you just help me in calculating 2160? Yes, 2910, 2,500. 2910, 2,500. 2580. Okay, so this is 2580. Then 2658. 3075. अरे 2658 is wrong amount. 3261 in June. So 3261 in June, 3075 in May. Yes, you should give me month wise. And 2658 in April. Correct? These are the figures of sales commission. And as per the information in the question, these are paid in that month itself. So I will come under the payment side. I will write down sales commission. So it is 2160, 2910, 2580, 2658, 3075, and 3261. Correct? So this is my sales commission. Now let's come to working note 2. Working note 2 is payment to creditors. But first, let's just take for materials. Okay? Now, what information they have given for creditors for materials? So they are saying that creditors for materials purchased are granted 1 month's credit. Means in short, this 25,000 would be paid in Feb. This 31,000 would be paid in March. This 25,500 would be paid in April. April ka would be paid in May. May ka in June. So I don't need to prepare any working note. I can directly write down. I can directly write down from the question. So no need to prepare any working note for this. It is very simple and easy to understand. So December ka purchase of material would be paid in Jan. But in absence of December information, we cannot write down any number of our imagination. So we need to keep it blank. So again, payment for material. So in Jan, it would be paid for December, but December is nil. 31, 25, 500. 25, 500. 30,600. 30,000. And 38,800. This is 37,000. 38,800. So this is done for materials. Now what information they are giving for overheads? Same information, payment for overheads. Now overheads are of two types. There are only two types of overheads, production and selling. So again, these overheads are granted 1 month of credit. So production overhead of Jan would be paid in March or Feb, sorry, not in March but Feb. So 6,000 in Feb, 6,300 in March, again 6,000 in April, 6,500 in May, and 8,000 in June. Likewise, office and selling overheads. This 5,500 of Jan month would be paid in Feb, 6,700 would be paid in March, 7,500 in April, 8,900 in May, and 11,000 in June. Yes or no? Correct? So likewise, we will write for production and selling. So 6,300, 6,000, 6,300, 6,300, 6,000, 6,500, 8,000. 6,000, 6,500, 8,000. And likewise for selling. 5,500, 6,700, 5,500, 6,700, 7,500, 8,900. And 11,000. Correct? For purchases. Sorry. Why 25,000? Because Jan ka payment would have been done in Feb, na? Purchases, materials are purchased. Jan में 25,000 का purchase हुआ. But they are paying that after a month because creditor, supplier is giving 1 month credit. Yes, 25,000 should come in Feb. So 31,000, what is 31,000? Oh, sorry, yes, 25,000 would come in Feb. Huh? This amount would change. Jan ka it is paid in Feb. So 25, 31, 25, 500, 25, 31, 25, 500, 30,600 and 37,000. 30,600 and 37,000. ठीक है? Now, any information on salaries and wages? Any information on the salaries and wages? Tell me, any specific information? See, they gave specific information for materials and for overheads. Overheads are only of two types in this question, production and selling overheads. So no information on salaries and wages. So again, we will assume that it is paid in the month of it is incurred. Okay? So payment for salaries and wages paid in the month of incurrence. So 10, 12,100, 10,600. Let me first save this. 10,000, 12,100, 10,600. 25, 22, 23. 25, 22 and 23. Yes, we will assume paid in the same. Now check the question. Are there any other adjustment left anywhere in the question? Is any point that we are missing out? Just check the question once. So this should be your process in solving cash budget. First, prepare the format. Step 2, write down the opening balance. Step 3, first complete the specific one-line adjustments directly. Step 4, go for calculating collection from debtors. Step 5, go for calculating payment to creditors. Step 6, go for calculating payment of expenses. Step 7, closing balance. Bank loan 30,000 I have already taken in receipt. That is done. Can you see 30,000? That is already done. So I guess there are no adjustments left. We can calculate the closing balance. So tell me, closing balance for the month of Jan, 70 to 500 plus 36,000 less 2160 less 10,000. 96,340. ठीक है? And the closing balance of Jan will be my opening balance of Feb. 96,340. Because here they have not mentioned anything about keeping a specific balance like we did in last question. 96,340 plus 48,500 plus 36 less 8,000, less 25,600, sorry, 25,000 less 6,000 less 5,500 less 12,100. 121,330. 121,330. So again, this will be opening for the month of March. Can you tell me the closing balance of March? Now just give me closing and opening. Can you tell me the closing? 133,230. I'm assuming that you have calculated correctly. Yeah? 133,230. ये 155 आ रहा है यार इसका तो. 155,650. So some student has calculated wrong. 155,650. Yes. So I guess this is the correct amount because majority of the students are getting this. So 155,650. Closing for April would be 151,292. Okay, let me just check for other students. Anjali got 151,292. Okay, so I guess this is also correct amount. 151,292. And this would be my make a close opening. 151,292. Make a closing. Make a closing is yes, April ka closing is done. Now make a closing. Closing for the month of May. 205,767. Two zero five 767. 194,106. 194,106. So this is my closing cash balance of each month. Okay. So if let's say if company wants to take a project of 1,50,000 for which company needs 1,50,000 of cash. after 6 months. So can I say I have enough balance? I would be having enough balance as per my budget. I can think of that investment, ignoring the other factors as of now, just focusing on the cash factor. I can invest in that project because I would be having sufficient funds. So this is how cash budget helps in decision making to financial manager. So in short, if we quickly revise this cash budget is nothing but forecasting your future cash requirements, estimating your future cash needs. Okay? Then we understood the format. Cash budget is simply your receipts and payment accounts. But instead of preparing receipts and payments account of historic data, under cash budget, we prepare receipts and payments account for the future data or the estimated data or the anticipated data, correct? And the critical points to be considered while preparing cash budget is the amount that is received and paid and the timing of that amount that is received and paid. So very clear, crystal clear. Now let's move to our next topic. Let's move to our next topic, which is calculation of or estimating the optimum cash balance. Optimum cash balance. Payables. Payables is left now. Don't worry, I will cover that. Have trust and faith on me. See, as I said, keeping excess of high cash balance in the company is also a disease, is also disadvantageous to the company, and very low cash balance or cash crunch is also disease to the company. Excess idle cash balance will result into losing of an opportunity on that cash. Yes or no? And keeping very low cash balance or cash crunch would result into loss of opportunity in the investment of various lucrative projects. Let's say if the project cost is 2 lakh and you are just having 20,000 of cash balance. So can I say you are losing an opportunity to invest in that lucrative project? Likewise, the project cash or the projected investment is 2 lakh and you are keeping 20 lakh with you. So can I say 18 lakhs are idle funds? You are losing an opportunity to invest this 18 lakh elsewhere. So keeping excess high cash balance and keeping excess low cash balance or cash crunch, both are disease to the company, both are disadvantageous. So there has to be an optimum cash balance where you are not losing an opportunity anywhere. So how to calculate that optimum amount of cash balance that company should keep? We will learn that. And how to calculate that? One finance scholar has given his model called William-Baumol model of optimum cash balance. This gentleman has given his formula to calculate the optimum cash balance. So we just need to apply the formula that this gentleman has given to us. Now, this model you have seen in inventory management also in your costing paper, if you remember. EOQ, correct. EOQ, optimum inventory order quantity or the economic order quantity. Yes, everyone is remembering that EOQ. Even in that, William-Baumol gave his formula that the optimum order quantity of inventory or the economic order quantity of inventory is that quantity or is that order where your ordering cost per order is equal to your carrying cost. Yes or no? Yes, OC and CC. Your ordering cost and carrying cost were same. So that was the economic order quantity. So you know the concept, the principle, that same replica of that principle is under cash management as well. But instead of ordering cost, here it would be transaction cost. The replacement of ordering cost is done by the transaction cost per transaction. And instead of carrying cost, here it would be interest opportunity lost of interest. Opportunity loss in interest, or your opportunity loss in rate of return. So, as per William Baumol, optimum cash balance is that level of cash balance where your transaction cost per transaction is equal to your opportunity loss in interest or rate of return. It is just the replica of that exact same principle. What was the formula that William Baumol gave for EOQ? What was the formula? You remember that formula? 2AR 2AO upon C root 2AO upon C. A was the annual order quantity of inventory. O was the ordering cost. C was the carrying cost. So again, same formula over here. Optimum cash balance as per William Baumol is just the replica of EOQ. So here the formula will be 2AT upon O. O is the opportunity loss, or you can just simply write the interest. 280 upon I, where A is the annual cash requirement. Under EOQ, it was the annual inventory requirement. So here it is annual cash required. T, instead of ordering cost, it is transaction cost. And I is the opportunity loss of investment. Opportunity loss in interest or rate of return. Okay? Instead of carrying cost, it is opportunity loss in interest. See, now what is transaction cost? What is transaction cost? Can I say, ideally, what do all the companies do? Just think from layman perspective or just think rationally. Company does not wish to keep idle cash balance. What will they do? The idle cash balance will be invested in securities. Yes or no? Either in securities or in some real estate or in some lucrative investments like bitcoins, etc., etc. Company will not keep idle cash. This is what in reality all the companies do. They invest that in some projects, in some securities, in some real estate, in some bitcoins. As and when cash is needed to the company, they sell this investment and transfer it to the company's bank account. Are you getting this? So can I? Are you following? So as and when company needs any cash, they will sell off the investments. They will sell off the securities and transfer it to the company's bank account. But each time this exercise is done, can I say there would be some transaction cost? Like if we sell the securities, you have to pay brokerage, you have to pay stamp duty, you have to pay STT, you have to pay GST, you have to pay turnover tax. So these are nothing but transaction cost. Are you getting this? So instead of ordering cost, over here it would be transaction cost. Hope everyone is following. Are you following? Any doubts? Any concerns still here? Securities means shares, bonds, temporary form of investments for short period of time. I will just first write down the formula. Optimum cash balance is nothing but 280 upon I. So A is nothing but annual requirement of your cash. Annual cash requirement. T. So you all understood what is transaction cost. So the number of times you sell these securities, you keep on selling these securities and transfer to company's bank account, the higher would be the transaction cost, just like ordering cost. Yes or no? And I is opportunity loss in rate of return. And what is I? I is the opportunity loss in earning the rate of return from that investment. How? Now let's assume the company needed funds. So company sold the securities, kept on selling the securities and kept on transferring to the company's bank account. So can I say now the company is losing an opportunity to earn some return from those investments? Yes or no? So that is carrying cost of cash. Are you getting this? Just like you had carrying cost of inventory, losing an opportunity of investment is carrying cost of cash. Hope you got this. The more and more you sell the securities and transfer it to bank account, can I say you are losing an opportunity to earn some return now? So that is your carrying cost. So it is just the complete replica of William Baumol model of inventory and management or EOQ. It is duplicate or mirror image of EOQ. Now you have to just think from cash perspective instead of inventory perspective. Okay? So optimum cash balance is that cash balance where your transaction cost per transfer or per transaction is equal to your interest. Okay? And you have learned in very detailed form in costing. So we will not go in much detail. We will just apply this formula and we will find the optimum cash balance. Hope everyone is following. Because you have already learned this in a very detailed mode in costing. So let's just not waste our time. In FM, we can just apply the same formula over here. And instead of you just need to remember that instead of ordering cost, here it would be transaction cost. And instead of carrying cost, here it would be interest loss or rate of return loss. So see this, we are all estimating. We are all estimating. This is based completely on the forecasted figures. We are not calculating based on the history. We are all forecasting. So this is the forecasted optimum cash balance. Okay? Now let's try to take some problem from the module if I can find. So there are number of questions or illustrations for cash budget. You can practice at home. Yeah, illustration number 10. A firm maintains a separate account for cash disbursement. Total disbursements are 1 lakh 5 per month or 12 lakh 60,000 per year. So this is the annual requirement of cash. You need 12 lakh 60,000 in a year. Administrative and transaction cost of transferring cash to disbursement account is 20 per transfer. So my transaction cost per transaction or per transfer is 20. Marketable securities yield 8% per annum. So this is rate of return on investments that you would be foregoing once you transfer it to company's bank account. Okay? This is the opportunity loss. So when I say my optimum cash balance as per William Baumol is nothing but 280 upon I square root. Annual cash requirement is 1260. Transaction per transfer is per transfer is 20. I is 8%, so 0.08. Can you calculate? How much it is coming? 25,100. So William Baumol says that company should keep ideally a balance of 25,100 in future. Yeah, 25,099 is 25,100. You can round it off to nearest rupees. Let's see if there is any another illustration. Ritika, it's not 2509, it's 25,099. You can recheck. So in short, if we understand, then William Baumol is just a replica of EOQ. The formula and everything is same. But instead of ordering cost, here you have transaction cost, and instead of carrying cost, here you have interest loss or loss in opportunity of investment. Okay, so there was only one question for William Baumol. And there are no practical problems for this model in your module. So with this, okay, no worries. So with this, let's end to William Baumol model of cash management. And with this, we are ending with the topic of cash budget and management. And we are proceeding to our last topic of this chapter, Miller-Orr model. It is more of a theoretical part. Miller-Orr cash model says that company ideally should keep two limits. One is the upper limit, one is the lower limit. One is the lower limit of cash. Company ideally keeps two limits. If the amount of cash goes above the upper limit, this is your upper limit, let's say 1 lakh. Key company's cash balance should not go above 1 lakh. But let's say if it goes above 1 lakh, then you invest this in securities, in temporary investment. And let's say the minimum balance is 10,000. If your cash balance goes below this limit of 10,000, then you either sell your securities or you borrow the funds, because you at least have to maintain this 10,000 balance. This is what Miller-Orr model says in very short. This is a brief or very short insights of Miller-Orr cash management model. Means just setting up the higher limit and lower limit. If the amount of cash balance goes above the higher limit, you invest in securities or you give loan to someone. If the amount goes below your lower limit, then you borrow the funds or you sell those securities. A very quick insights, a very short explanation. Okay? And this limits, higher limit, lower limits, depends on company's past data, depends on company's history, depends on company to company, depends on other factors as well. So it is not a standard rule, depends on the company's facts and figures. Okay? Now let's move to last topic of this chapter. Not just this chapter, but I guess last topic of financial management, which is payables management. बातों में we covered estimation of working capital. We covered all the components, all the specific components of working capital, be it inventory management, although it is done in costing, but we covered that. Let's assume that. Then we covered cash management, then we covered debtors. Now last but not the least, payables, creditors. your analogy of thinking should be just opposite of receivables management. Just like it is important to manage efficiently, to manage receivables efficiently, and to manage cash efficiently, it is equally important to manage your creditors efficiently. To maintain relationship with them on good terms, on good basis, also equally important. Tell me, if my question to you, let's say Mr. X, he is my supplier, he gives me credit of 60 days. He gives me a credit of 60 days. Means, in other terms, can I say I am using his funds for 60 days? Yes or no? If I don't pay him till the time of 60 days, can I say I'm using his funds for 60 days for my business? Now. Is it now? Let's say I'm not paying him till 100th day. So is it good for my company or bad for my company? Someone will say, sir, you are using his funds for 100 days. So it is a good thing that you are able to use free ka fund for more number of days. So it is a good thing. Yes or no? Good for the company. Shravani says not good. Hardik says good. Give me the reasons. Why good, why bad? Vaidehi says bad. Shreni says less funds needed. So your opinion is 50-50. Some are saying good, some are saying bad. So both are correct over here. See, can I say if I don't make the payment till 100th day, I'm able to use his funds for more period of time. But if I see the other side of the same coin, can I say this person will lose faith from me? He will lose trust from me. मेरी मार्केट में इज्जत खराब हो जाएगी. My image will fall down in the market. He will pass on the information to everyone that don't do business with Mr. Dvi because he is not paying on time. उसकी नीयत खराब है, उसको पेमेंट देना ही नहीं है. This information will start spreading in the market and I will lose my credit, I will lose my image, I will lose my goodwill. So payable, managing your payable efficiently is equally important. You cannot just keep on delaying your payment to the supplier because it will lose your credit in the market. No one will do business in future with you. And equally important is you cannot make payment early as well. Let's say 60 days ka payment term is the credit period that is given. It is not wise to pay within 10th day itself. So you have to manage your payables. For that, you have to calculate what is beneficial to the company. What is the benefit to the company? Are you getting this? So managing your payable is equally important. Whether to make timely payments, whether to make early payments. If you make early payments, let's say the credit is 60 days. If you make payment within 10 days, so can I say supplier will give some cash discount to the company? So whether to avail cash discount or not, what is beneficial to the company? We need to calculate that in this topic. Hope you are following. See, excess delay to karna hi nahi hai because it will hamper your image. It will hamper your goodwill. No one will do your business with you in the future. But the question here is whether to utilize the entire credit period given by the supplier or whether to avail the cash discount and make the payment early. We have to make decision between these two questions. We need to learn that. Hope everyone is following. So we need to calculate whether it is beneficial. Whether it is beneficial to avail discount and pay early, to avail cash discount and pay early, or don't take the benefit of cash discount and pay on the last day. Or whether, next question is whether to pay on the last day of credit period and not avail discount. So ideally, we just need to answer these two questions, whether it is beneficial to avail the discount or not avail the discount. किसमें company का फायदा ज्यादा है? We need to learn that in this chapter or in this short topic. We don't have any practical problems in your module, but we have couple of illustration. We will see that. Hope you are following. Hope you are able to grasp the significance or the learning objective. So first question seen. First question illustration. So let's take illustration number 1. Sorry, illustration number 17, and let's see how payables management का concept works, how the flow works. ठीक है? Yes, payable management. Please open the module of payable management. Please everyone open the module of payables management. It is on page number 9.1. And let me check if I have any practical problems with me, but I guess I don't have. Okay, so let's just solve these illustrations. Illustration number 17. Suppose ABC Limited has been offered credit terms from its major suppliers 2 by 10 net 45. Hey, what do you mean by this terminology 2 by 10 net 45? Have you faced this term before anywhere? No. We haven't. 2 by 10 net 45. Ritika, no. Someone says yes. No, Pranav, it is wrong. Your interpretation is wrong. See, what does this mean? Ideally, the credit period given by the supplier is 45 days. This is the normal credit period. Normal credit period of 45 days. But if you are making the payment within 10 days, if you are making the payment within 10 days, then you will get 2% of discount, cash discount. This is how it is interpreted. This is how you interpret. Ideally, normally the credit period is 45 days. But if you make the payment within 10 days, then you will get a cash discount of 2%. Yes or no? So in other words, let's say if my purchase amount is 100. If you make the payment on 45th day, then pay entire amount of 100. But if you are making the payment within 10 days, then you will have to pay 98 rupees only and not 100. Hope you are following. No, not too much. Understood? This is how we interpret. So if you want to avail full credit period, then pay rupees 100 entirely on 45th day. If you want to avail discount of 2%, then pay 98 rupees but within 10 days. This is how you interpret 2 by 10 net 45. Now tell me how do you interpret this? 3 by 15 net 6. 3 by 15 net 60. How will you interpret this? Tell me. Try. 3 by 15 net 60. Can I say the normal credit period is 60 days? But if you make payment within 15 days, then you will get 3% cash discount. Yes, correct. Yes, Pranav, absolutely right. So we all understood how to interpret that term. Correct? Hence, the company has the choice of paying. See, this is not 10, huh? This is hence the company has the choice of paying 98 per 100 if made within 10 days, or to invest 98 for additional 35 days and eventually pay supplier 100 per 100. Okay? This is not 10 per 100. Huh? This should be 98 per 100. So the decision as to whether avail the discount or not, we will check that. So company has two options. Let me prepare a timeline. Huh? Let me first prepare a timeline. The timeline will start from day 0 and it will end at 45 days. 0 day, 45th day. But बीच में 10वां दिन आ रहा है, 10th day आ रहा है. Yes or no? So what ideally supplier is saying, if you want to make payment on 45th day, no worries, you can pay me on 45th day, but pay 100 rupees. ठीक है? And supplier says, if you want to make payment within 10 days, pay me 98 rupees only. So I asked the supplier, why this bhedbhav, why this difference? If I make the payment within 10 days, you are charging me less. And if I make the payment on 45th day, you are charging me more. Why you are charging me this 2 rupees extra on 98? So he said that 2 rupees I am charging as an interest. This 2 rupees on 98 is nothing but your interest. I am charging interest from you. Are you getting this? Because had if you have made or you have given me the payment on 10th day, I would have invested this 98 on the 10th day itself somewhere else. Yes or no? I would have invested that 98 rupees for 35 days. Are you getting this? From 10th day to 45th day, I would have invested. Are you following? Are you following what I'm trying to say? Yeah, interest or opportunity loss. Both are correct. So supplier says, friend, this 2 rupees is my interest loss that I am recovering from you. I have lost an opportunity to invest this 98 for 35 days. So this is my interest loss. So I will recover that from you. Are you getting this? So this 2 by 98, this 2 rupees on 9, this 2 rupees of interest on 98 is for 35 days. How much would be for 365 days? How much would be for 365 days? Can I say this 2 rupees of interest on 98? Can I say how much, what is the percentage that is coming? Can you tell me? 2 rupees of interest on 98. How much is the percentage that is coming? It is 2.04. 2.04%. Yes or no? So supplier says that this 2.04% is the interest that I am charging for 35 days from you. Because you have used my money for 35 days. Are you able to follow my sentences? Are you able to follow my phrases? Are you getting this? So how much would be for 365 days? So when I say cross multiplication or interpolation, कितना आ रहा है? 21.27. 21.27. So yearly interest comes to 21.27% by interpolation. So yearly supplier is charging an interest of 21.27%, and this interest is called as implied rate of interest or implied rate of return. $2.04 is nothing but, see, 2 rupees of interest supplier is charging me on 98. So 2 divided by 98 into 100. This 2 rupees of interest, supplier is charging me on 98 rupees for 35 days. So for 35 days in percentage, if I calculate, it is 2.0408. Correct? If I want to calculate annually, can I say I have to calculate for 365 days? So 2.0408 into 365 divided by 35. So annually it comes to 21.27%. Two in previous month and now two is opportunity loss. Sorry. Shravani, I am not able to understand any of your questions. Huh? You need to be very specific and clear what you are asking. Okay? So in short, now let me ask you one question. Supplier is charging me 21.27%. Okay, in the form of interest annually. Now let's say if I myself, my company has an opportunity to earn 30% on this 98. My opportunity that the company has opportunity to earn this 98 rupees, the opportunity to earn something on this 98 rupees that company has is, let's say, 30%. Tell me, will the company avail the discount or not avail the discount? Implied rate of return is nothing but interpolation. This 2.04% is the interest that impliedly supplier is charging to the company. He says that I am giving you the cash discount if you pay early. But if you don't pay early, if you make the payment on the last day, I would charge some interest to you. That is called implied rate of interest or implied rate of return. Are you getting this? So this 2.4% is the implied rate of interest that supplier is charging to the company for 35 days. So how much should be for 365 days? That is how much should be for annual. That is 21.27%. Okay? So in short, supplier is charging me 21.27% of interest impliedly. Now let's say if I have an opportunity to invest this as a company, I have an opportunity to invest this at 30%. So whether should I avail the discount or should I not avail the discount? Pallavi says not avail. Hardik says not avail. Correct. Both are correct. Why? Because I will invest this at 30%. My company will invest this 98 and earn 30%. And I will pay 21.27% to the supplier as implied rate of interest. See, supplier is charging me 21.27% annually. It means in other words, supplier is granting you a loan, granting you a credit at rate of 21.27%. Are you following? So if I'm able to earn more than this implied rate of return, then not avail the discount. It is better company invest this 98, company itself invest this 98, earn 30% from that and pay 21.27% to the supplier. Are you following? Yes, difference will be our income, not avail. Everyone, you are correct. So when your opportunity investment or your rate of return on opportunity is more than the implied rate, of interest that supplier charges to you, you always will not avail the discount. You will grab the opportunity that you have. As a company, if you are having an opportunity to grab and earn 30%, then earn that and pay 21.27%. Are you following this? Hope everyone understood. So this is one way of calculating or making decision, that is comparing the rate of return that you have opportunity for investment that you can earn on the investment, and you compare this an opportunity rate of return with implied rate of return that supplier is charging to you. So if opportunity rate of return is higher than the implied rate of return that supplier is charging to you, you will not avail the discount. So this is one of the way to make decision whether to avail the discount or not avail the discount. Another way and logical way, more logical way, is to prepare a format. Let's say if we refuse the discount, and let's say if we avail the discount. Okay? And let's say our purchase amount is ₹1,000. Correct? Terms are 2/10, net 45. Yes or no? Yeah. So let me explain you the another way of making decision whether to avail the cash discount or not avail the cash discount. And this way is very logical, very practical. Refuse, avail. Refuse the discount, avail the discount. And let's say our purchase amount is 1,000 rupees. If I refuse the discount, can I say I have to make payment on 45th day? Yes or no? On 45th day, how much payment I will make? Can I say I have to make payment of entire 1,000 rupees? Correct? Till here, are you clear? Can I say if I refuse the discount, I have to make payment of entire 1,000 rupees on 45th day? But now listen very carefully. Can I say company now has an opportunity to invest this 98 somewhere else? Our company now has an opportunity to invest this 98 somewhere else. Yes or no? Because you are having that fund now, because you would be paying 1,000 on the last day. So can I say company, acha, if company avails the discount, can I say company has to make payment? Make payment of 9,800 only, not 10,000. Yes or no? If company avails the discount, then make payment on 10th day. So if it will be 9,800 if company avails the discount, but company will not pay, and sorry, 980, not 9,800. 980. 2% is the discount, correct? So company will pay only 980 on the 10th day. Yes or no? Clear till here? Now, if company refuses the discount, can I say now company has the opportunity to invest this for another 35 days? If the company does not avail the discount, if the company refuses the discount, can I say company has the opportunity to invest this 980 for another 35 days and earn some rate of return from that? Are you following? Is everyone following my phrases? So let's say the opportunity rate of return is not given in the question, but let's assume company has an opportunity to earn 30% from investing the funds elsewhere. ठीक है, कंपनी के पास एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है दैट फ्रॉम दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी कंपनी कैन अर्न 30%. सो कैन आई से कंपनी विल इन्वेस्ट दिस 980 rupees for another 35 days? Yes or no? At 30% rate of return. If the company does not make payment on 10th day, means company will have 980 का balance जेब में, because company has not made the payment. So company will have funds of 980 in its pocket. Company will invest this 980 at 30% for 35 days. 10th day से 35th day. Yes or no? Correct. So how much is the amount of return in rupees? कितना आ रहा है 28.19. So can I say company has earned 28.19 from this return. So can I say मेरा net cost is not 1000 if I refuse the discount. I have to subtract 28.19 because I have earned 28.19 for investing this 980 rupees. So my net cost is how much? My net cost comes to, if I avail the discount, then I have to, my net cost is 980. But if I don't avail the discount, if I refuse the discount, my net cost comes to 971.81. So can I say, if I don't avail the discount, if I refuse the discount, it is beneficial to the company because net cost is minimum. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? Understood? So this is also one way of making decision. This is more practical way. The outcome of this approach is this only. If your rate of return, if your opportunity rate of return, which is 30% in our example, is greater than your implied rate of return, which was 21.27%, then it is always beneficial not to avail the discount. Are you following? The outcome, the result, the decision making is this only. If you are having some great opportunity, then what supplier is charging you in the form of implied rate of interest, then you don't avail the discount, you grab the opportunity. This is what decision making says, or payables management concept says. Now let's assume another side. Opportunity available is only 10%. Opportunity available to the company. Opportunity available to the company is only 10% from elsewhere. So can I say if I refuse the discount, I could earn only 10% on this 980? Yes or no? For 35 days? If the opportunity available from earning from investment is 10%, so can I say I would have earned just 980 पे 10% for 35 days? So कितना आता? बोलो, how much is the amount? 9.39. Correct? So this would be my income if I would have refused the discount. So 9.39. So here just consider 9.39. So how much is my net cost? Can I say 1000 minus 9.39? So 990.61. 990.61. So can I say in that case, it is beneficial to avail the discount? Yes or no? Understood? Understood the concept of payables management? Are you getting this? Follow any queries? So how to calculate implied rate of return? So the formula to calculate implied rate of return is implied rate of return on interest is nothing but 2 by 98, which is for 35 days. How much would be annually? It is just by doing interpolation. It is just by doing interpolation, cross multiplication. ठीक है? Yes, if your opportunity to invest elsewhere is less than your implied rate of return, then it is always beneficial to avail the discount. Correct. Now, how to calculate implied rate of return on interest? So it is just by interpolation, by cross multiplication. This is days, huh? Simply by cross multiplication. This is days. ठीक है. So the formula that you can see above, this is nothing but interpolation that we did. Are you following? This formula is nothing but the interpolation that we did. By looking at the formula, it looks very complicated and we cannot understand by simply looking at this formula, but it is nothing but this interpolation. So this is one way. This is simple interpolation or calculating implied rate of interest, calculating implied rate of return on simple interest basis. There is one more way. There is one more way called compounding way of calculating implied rate of return. Compounding way of calculating implied rate of return. And this compounding way is nothing but using the concept of time value of money. There are two ways. See, can you see the formula above? One way is simply the interpolation part that we did. The first formula is simple interest basis, just cross multiplication. Second is compounding effect, including the compounding effect of interest. So this is the second formula. It is this compounding formula is just based on the concept of time value of money that we have learned. Present value 1 plus r raised to n is equal to future value, correct? 98 is my present value and future value after 45th day would be 100. 1 plus r, we don't know r, we want to find the rate of return only, and n is nothing but 335 divided by 365. Hardik, the difference is 2% because we have calculated by using simple interest method. They have calculated by using or by giving the compounding effect, that is by considering the time value of money. Understood? So 98 is the present value on the 10th day. 100 is the future value on the 45th day. R is the rate of return, implied rate of return that we need to calculate. And N, number of period is 35 divided by 365. Understood? Okay, 980. I have assumed, okay, I have taken 1000, then 980 and 1000. Okay? So can I say 1 plus R 35 by 365 will be equal to 1000 divided by 980? ये कितना आ रहा है? 1.0204. Yes or no? Now, if I want to remove this raised to sign from LHS, तो यहाँ पे उल्टा हो जाएगा, रिवर्स हो जाएगा. Are you following? This is simple mathematics का rule. If I want to remove the raised to sign from LHS, I just want to keep 1 plus r. I don't want to write raised to 35 by 365. So can I say I have to reverse that effect on RHS? Means RHS में 365 divided by 35 हो जाएगा अब. Yes or no? This is simple maths का rule. So 1 plus r is equal to 1.0204. Now 365 divided by 35. Can I say it will be 10.4286? 10.428? Yes or no? Now, how to solve this equation on Kelsey? Do you know how to solve this equation on Kelsey? Specifically, how to solve this part on Kelsey? Do you know that? Do you know the steps? Directly on Kelsey? No. Oh, I thought you would have learned this in foundation level. Okay, let me explain you. Just follow the steps that I am telling you. This is very important. Take 1.0204 on Kelsey. ठीक है? 1.0204 on Kelsey. Wait, I have written this step somewhere. Have you taken this? Now press square root sign 12 times. Press square root sign 12 times. Huh? I have written the steps. Let me check if I have with me. Not able to find, but okay, I got that. Did you take Calc 1.0204 on Calc? Then press equal to. This is step 1. Press square root sign 12 times. Okay? This is step 2. So you press square root sign 12 times. Step 3. Subtract minus 1. Subtract minus 1. Sorry, subtract 1 means press minus 1. Just subtract 1. Okay? Did you done this? Take 1.0204 on Calc, that is take the base amount, then press square root sign 12 times, then press minus 1. Step 4. Step 4. Multiply by the power. Multiply it by 10.4286. 10.4286. Okay? Multiply the answer with the power. Power is 10.4286. Then add 1. Then add 1. This is step 5. Then add 1 on your Calc, plus 1. Earlier we subtracted, now we are adding. And last but not the least, press multiplication equal to sign 12 times. Multiply equal to, multiply equal to, multiply equal to, multiply equal to, multiply equal to 12 times. So पल्लवी का आ गया 1.2344. सबका यही आना चाहिए. 1 plus R is equal to 1.2344. So when I say R would be 0.2344, which means 23.44%. So वही आंसर आया 23.5%. Are you getting this? So this is nothing but time value of money का concept. Calculating implied rate of return, giving compounding effect, or using time value of money का concept. Understood? So the step is take the base 1.0204 on Calc, then press this square root sign 12 times. So you will get some answer. Then press minus 1 means subtract 1 from that answer. So again you will get some another answer. Then multiply it with the power. Raised to. It is raised to 10.4286. So multiply that answer with 10.4286. Now you are again adding 1. Here you are subtracting 1. So to nullify that effect, we are adding 1. So plus 1 to the given answer. And then press multiplication equal to 12 times. Multiplication equal to 1. Multiplication equal to 2. Multiplication equal to 3. Like this you have to keep these steps repeating 12 times. In press 12 times and then press equal to 12 times. ऐसा नहीं करना है. Multiplication equal to 1 time. Multiplication equal to this is 2 times. Multiplication equal to 3 times, and not multiplication 12 times equal to 12 times. ऐसा नहीं करना है. In question, you can use both any of the method. Just write a note because module itself has accepted both the methods. देख रहे हो दोनों फॉर्मूला है. So you can use any of the method. Just write the note. 12 times because it is a way. There is no logic. It is a processed way in the calculator. So we will use that way that is available in the calc. And more detailed logic, we need to ask it to mathematician. We will just use the tool, the way that is available to us. You can press 13 times also, you will get same answer. You can try pressing square root sign 13 times, you will get same answer. But फिर last में आपको ये 13 times लेना है. That is a way that is a tool that calc inbuilt has. So we will just use that tool. For detailed logic, we can meet some mathematician someday. Yes, 12 times gives the most appropriate answer. This is time and tested. Understood? So with this, we complete our chapter of managing the working capital. We covered all the topics. Right now it is not possible because already it is 8:40. So we can discuss in the revisionary lecture if time permits. How 25%? They have mentioned that it is assumed. They are trying to give the illustration. They are trying to explain you the concept. Can you see let's assume 25%? So they have clearly mentioned it is assumption. Just I assume 30%. It is their assumption. You can use your own assumption. Yes, today is the last class for this session. I guess it is over. As far as my topics are concerned, it is over. And now we will surely meet in revisionary lectures. But before ending this session, last lecture some student had question in receivables management ka formula. One of the student had question. Let me just quickly give the logic to that. See, in receivables management, we calculated net benefit for different policies and selected the best one. The best one was that policy that generated highest net benefit. Another way was to calculate incremental net benefit. That is just taking the difference. Third is calculating the expected rate of return. Third way is calculating the expected rate of return. Both the ways above gives us answer in absolute amount. Amount में answer देता था. The above two methods gave us the answer in rupees. But expected rate of return would give answer in percentage. Because we are calculating rate of return. So as per the expected rate of return method, we will select that policy that generates highest expected rate of return. Okay? That generates highest expected rate of return. Now how to calculate expected rate of return? It is quite logical. Let's say as an investor, you are investing in project. Of rupees 1 lakh. Your investment is of rupees 1 lakh. And the expected earnings or the expected profit that you earn from this project is, let's say, 25,000. So tell me, what is the rate of return that you have earned from this project? Tell me, your investment is 1 lakh and the expected earnings or the expected profit is 25,000. Bolo, what is the expected rate of return? 25%. And 25% कैसे आया? How did you calculate X percentage? Can I say it is nothing but expected profit divided by your expected investment or your investment amount? Or in other words, can I say the amount that is blocked for you amount that is blocked? Yes or no? You have invested 1 lakh. So can I see your 1 lakh is blocked? So same analogy, same concept you have to apply over here. The expected rate of return from different policy is nothing but incremental expected profit divided by incremental amount blocked in your debtors. Are you getting this? The same analogy will apply here. Same principle. To calculate, you take expected profit in numerator and you take the amount that is blocked in denominator. So the same logic will apply here. So to calculate or to make decision using method 3, your formula is taking incremental expected profit divided by incremental amount that is blocked in debtors. Understood? And incremental profit is nothing but your operating profit and just your ABCD ka cost, admin, bad debts, collection, discounting cost. This is the expected profit. Understood? So this is how you calculate or you decide which policy to be considered using method 3. But method 3 your answer would be in percentage, and for the above two methods it would be in rupees. Okay? But I would suggest simply follow method 1 or method 2. Don't try to complicate your solutions. Don't try to calculate percentage. There are chances that it might be wrong. Just simply follow first or second method, which is very easy. एग्जाम में तूफानी नहीं करनी है हमें, लाइफ में करो चलेगा, बट डोंट डू एनी तूफानी इन एग्जामिनेशन. ठीक है? सो विद दिस we end today's session and we end my part at least for your regular LVC for FM. Thank you all. Yes, we will surely meet in revisionary lecture. Forfeiting is specifically, now forfeiting is for export customers, sorry, for overseas international customers. Domestic customers की यहाँ पे बात नहीं होगी. So what forfeiting means? You are an exporter. ठीक है? You sold the goods to importer. Now importer obviously will not pay you immediately, but exporter is in need of funds today because he wants to run smooth business eventually, gradually over the period of time. So what exporter will do? He will request to the importer that ask your bank to issue letter of credit, in my name. What will exporter do? He will ask the importer that go to your bank and tell them to issue letter of credit, LOC, in my name. Then after getting letter of credit, I will go to my bank. I will hand over the letter of credit to my bank and they will make me the payment upfront after charging some fees. This is forfeiting. This entire process is called forfeiting. But it is only for international customers. It is similar to bill discounting. ऐसा समझ लो. It is similar to bill discounting. But here the customers are not domestic, international customers. Letter of credit is acknowledgement by bank to the exporter that don't worry, my importer is a trustworthy person, he will make you the payment. So with this acknowledgement of letter of credit, exporter will go to its bank, and bank, by believing on this letter of credit that the importer's bank has generated, they will make some upfront payment to the exporter after charging some fees, after charging some commission. This is called, entire process is called forfeiting. But the only difference between bill discounting and forfeiting is that the customers under forfeiting are all international. Import export के time होगा, not for domestic. ठीक है? Now let's quickly end the session. It's already 15 minutes above our normal time. Thank you everyone. Have a nice weekend. All the best for your studies. All the best for your examination.
Recording stopped.
Yes, sir. Thank you.